Hey, you lazy bum! Did you wipe down the banisters like I asked you to? Because the last time I looked at them, they were filthy and covered in cobwebs.
Wait, what? Since when do you care about anything like that?
What are you talking about? Of course I care about that! I have to live in this house with you. The least you could do is keep it clean. Is that really so hard to understand?
I really don't get where any of this is coming from. This seems like such a tiny thing to get upset over, Daniel.
Don't you try and tell me what is and isn't worth getting upset over, Carmen. I've always cared about how dusty our home is.
Well, if you really care that much, then why don't you try cleaning it yourself sometime? Because you seem to be making a huge deal out of something that you aren't willing to do yourself.
How dare you talk to me like that? You're the wife, so it's your job to clean the house. It's just that simple.
Did you really just say that? I don't even know how to respond to that. Besides, it isn't like I'm a housewife who sits at home all day. You do know that I work a full-time job too, don't you?
I thought I told you not to talk back to me, woman. You're the wife. You do the cleaning. That is that. Besides, I'm way too tired after coming home from work to do anything like that. You know that I'm always working later than you are. So you should be able to handle the cleaning.
You think that just because you come home later than I do that it means you work harder than me? I'm not buying it. But I will say that the both of us could do a better job of keeping the house clean. That's for sure.
No, you could. And it's all your fault that the house is in the state that it is. Now, I want you to give the entire house a good cleaning, or else I'll divorce you. What do you think about that?
I mean, this is the millionth time that you've said you're going to do that. Why not put your money where your mouth is?
You really want to try and play this game with me, Carmen? You'll regret it. You really think you're going to have a future if I leave you? I'm going to give you a chance to save yourself here.
Actually, I think if anyone is going to be in trouble if we got divorced, it's going to be you.
You wish. I don't need you, but I know that you need me. Alright, that reminds me. Did you make the arrangements for our anniversary next month?
Sorry, what is this that you're talking about all of a sudden?
Our anniversary, woman! Did you know that you were going to cook for me? Have you gotten a nice bottle of wine? Have you done anything for it? You better make it perfect for me, or else.
Hold on a sec. If it's the woman's job to take care of the house, then surely we can agree that it's the man's job to plan date night. Or do you just think that you can get me to do all the dirty work that you don't want to?
You don't even keep the house clean, so I don't know why you think you get to talk to me like that now. Just go make some reservation at a restaurant or something, and quit arguing with me!
You really need to check yourself before you take things too far. I have my limits, you know. And right now, I feel like you're just being a total jerk to me for no good reason.
I'm not being a jerk. I'm just telling you that you need to do your fair share of work around here. Just remember that no one is going to want you if we get divorced. You're all washed up, and you'll die alone if I leave you. Is that what you want?
I really think you need to calm down and not talk to me like that, Daniel.
What did I tell you about talking back to me, huh? Just shut up and do as I say. I don't have time to handle all your petty little requests. I have important things to do with my life.
You really are just pathetic, you know that? I mean, you're just so prideful that you can't even admit when you're taking things too far. But all you're doing is stressing yourself out like this for no good reason.
The only thing stressing me out in life is you, Carmen. You're the source of all my problems. Anyways, if you'll excuse me, I have to get up early, so I'm going to bed now. And when I wake up, the whole house better be spotless. Got it?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say.
And make sure that you keep quiet the whole time that you're cleaning. If you wake me up while you're doing it, there is going to be serious hell to pay.
Man, you're annoying.
Well, Carmen, I think I've taken enough pictures to serve as proof in court in case anything happens.
Really? You think it's enough? Thank you so much, Brad. You're a lifesaver.
No, you're all good. It's my job after all.
All right, I forget that sometimes. Well then, how much do I owe you for all the work you've been doing for me?
Oh, come on, we're siblings. I'm not gonna charge you for this. There's no way that I could take money from my family.
Now, Brad, come on. Don't be like that. I hired you as my private investigator, and I want to see that you get paid for your time.
Okay then, consider this a free trial period. And if you ever need to call my services again, I'll charge you for that job. How does that sound?
Okay, well, at least let me buy you dinner. I mean, you've just done so much for me. I feel like I need to do something for you.
Actually, I have been craving Italian food now that you mention it. By the way, I really don't want you to freak out about this, but Daniel and this other woman have started meeting at your house.
You mean the house where Daniel and I live? He's been taking this woman in our house?
That's right. Up until now, they have been meeting outside the house. But about a week ago, he brought her to your house.
I don't believe it. How could he do that?
I'm just curious if you didn't see anything out of place or odd in the past week since that happened.
I don't really know. I wasn't looking for anything, so I probably didn't notice anything.
I see. Well, at least that means they're being careful enough not to leave any huge signs of what they're doing.
Although, now that you mention it, I guess there were some handprints on the dust on the handrail that weren't there before. I kind of noticed them, but thought it could have been anything, really. Although now I wonder if we wouldn't be able to get this woman's fingerprints off something in the house.
Well, either way, we have enough evidence to make Daniel pay for what he's doing. If you want, I know of a good divorce lawyer that we can hand this evidence to. Plus, you'll get a discount since you're being referred to him by me.
Oh, Brad, I really just don't know what I would do without you. You've already done so much.
It really isn't a problem. Things have been kind of slow for me, so I had plenty of time to work on your case. Besides, I think my job is really fun, so it's not like it was a chore for me.
Well, okay then. I guess I'll reach out to you when I decide how I want to proceed next.
Got it. Sounds good. I'll send you the photos that I took that would work best to show a lawyer. By the way, I hope this is okay for me to ask, but why have you two been together for the past 10 years?
No, it's okay. I understand why you'd want to know something like that. The thing is that Daniel wasn't always like this, but over the years he got meaner and more bitter. And now I just can't stand to be around him.
No, I think that makes sense. Anyways, just please let me know if there's anything else I can do for you, okay?
Of course. Thanks again for everything, Brad.
What the heck is this cheapo restaurant that you're trying to take me to? This is our 10th anniversary and you pick some steakhouse?
But I thought that you really liked steak.
I do, but I can eat here anytime if I wanted. This is supposed to be a special day, and you're ruining it by being a cheapskate. I can't believe that you're trying to do this to me on my anniversary.
But this place is really nice. I had to call weeks in advance to get a table for us. I hear that even celebrities are kept on the wait list here. It's supposed to be pretty exclusive.
I don't care about what some rich, snooty jerks are lining up to eat. I wanted you to show that you really care for me by making reservation at somewhere nice.
Well, I was going to do something like that, but I remembered a few years ago when I made reservations at a nice French place. You said that if you wanted to eat frogs, you would go down to the pond and catch them yourself.
Well, that's because French food isn't even that good. You really think I wanted to eat that slop?
I just don't understand what's gotten into you, Daniel. Why do you always act this way towards me?
Because you are constantly letting me down. All the time! And now, 10 years of my life have been sent down the drain because of you.
Okay then, tell me, Daniel. Where would you have preferred that I made reservations at for our anniversary, huh?
I would want to be in a place where they have a view of the city, and we could drink champagne. Something classy like that.
Well, the steakhouse that we're going to does have a terrace.
I don't want a terrace. I want to be high above everyone else, looking down on them. You really have some nerve trying to pretend like tonight is salvageable.
I'm allowed to speak for myself, you know.
Yeah, you're allowed to. But if you do, I'll divorce you, remember? Is that how you want to spend our 10th anniversary? Signing divorce papers?
Well, it's a good thing that I've already sent the paperwork out to be filed.
And just what is that supposed to mean?
I mean that this isn't an anniversary dinner. It's a divorce dinner, so let's celebrate! I hope you enjoy your steak!
I have no idea what you're talking about. Have you gone crazy or something? What do you mean that you sent the paperwork out?
I mean that you were always waving those divorce papers that you signed and told me that they were ready for me to give in at any time. So I took them, signed them, and sent them off to be processed.
Wait, hold on a second. You mean that you're really divorcing me? What's the matter with you? Why would you do that?
Why would I do that? You're the one that's always talking about it. Literally every little thing I do, you threaten to leave me. Well, I realized that you didn't have the guts to go through with it. So I took things into my own hand.
But you didn't even decide this with me. That isn't fair.
Didn't I? Because you already had your portion of the papers signed. You clearly were already prepared for it. All I did was sign my half and send them off. So tell me, was it all just talk and empty threats? Or did you mean what you were saying to me?
Well, I didn't mean it like this.
Well, sometimes life is funny like that. But I guess it still finds a way.
But then, what's going to happen to the house?
Oh, don't worry about that. I've already found a new place to live. I've already picked up the key for it and everything. So I'll be sleeping there from now on.
But what am I supposed to do, Carmen?
I really don't care one bit what you do. You're nothing to me now. Figure out your own life and leave me alone. You're more than welcome to stay in the house that we have now. I'm sure there's no reason why you wouldn't be able to stay there just because I'm gone.
But that's not quite true.
Don't tell me that you're not going to be able to afford to live there. That can't be right. You work so much harder than I do, don't you? Isn't that what you're always saying?
Don't you make fun of me. You're right. I don't need you. I'll just be fine on my own.
Okay then. Shall we just go to dinner and have that be our last goodbye?
Let's do it, but don't think that you're going to be able to change my mind about this, Carmen. I see that you even cleaned the house. Is this supposed to be your way of telling me you really don't want to do this?
What in the world are you talking about, Daniel?
I mean, all that talk of moving to a new place. You meant that you got a new place for you and I to live together, right?
Are you stupid or something? I just told you that we're divorced now. Why in the world do you think I want you to come and live with me in my new place?
Look, maybe we both said things that we regret. Why don't we just calm down and talk this out over dinner? And then we can figure out what to do next.
I'm very calm already, thank you very much. If you're feeling regret over what we just talked about, though, then good. I hope you do regret that way that you treated me. I'm just grateful that we don't have any children, because that would make this whole thing that much more complicated.
But, you mean, you're really going to leave me?
Of course I'm going to leave, but don't act so sad. It isn't like you don't have another woman.
What is that supposed to mean?
I know that you've been having an affair behind my back for at least a few months now. And that's why you've been arriving even later from work now. Isn't that right? I know it all. So please, don't try to lie to me about this.
But do you even have any proof of this? You don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I have plenty of proof. Let me send you some pictures.
But how did you get all this?
I already told you that I know the truth and that you shouldn't try to lie to me. I even know that you brought her into our home, Daniel. She left her fingerprints all over our dusty banister to boot, too.
No, wait. You don't understand. This was for work.
And just what does this have to do with your job?
Well, this woman she works for me. She said that she couldn't concentrate at the office and needed a quiet place to work.
Oh, I get it now. And that's why you've been going to hotels with this girl, too. All to work remotely?
Yes, that's right. We just couldn't focus at the office is the thing.
Right. I see. Well, how about you tell that to the judge? I'm so sure that he'll agree with you right away when he hears all of that.
The judge? What is that supposed to mean?
Well, we're getting divorced, which means that you should start looking for a lawyer first of all. And the judge is going to be for when I sue you for cheating on me. I'm going to take so much from you, and you're not going to get a cent from me.
Wait, hold on. You mean that you already found a lawyer for this?
That's right. My brother has some connections and introduced me. In fact, he was the one who followed you around and got all those pictures, too.
Wait a second. Your brother did all that? And since when did he become a PI? Whatever, I don't care anymore.
So now you're back to not caring if we split up again.
That's right, I don't need you. I have this other woman, and I'll pay whatever it takes to get you out of my hair.
You really think that you'll be able to pay me all those legal fees without a job?
No job? Just what in the world are you talking about now?
Well, when Brad was following you around and looking into your affair, he found out that you were using company funds to take out this little girlfriend of yours.
He looked that deep into what I was doing?
He's a legit PI who takes his job seriously. He knows the kind of proof that is going to work best, and works hard to find it. He took those receipts and sent them to your office, so even they know what you've been doing now.
You're kidding me. This can't be happening right now! You can't do this to me!
Yeah, at this rate, I don't know if this girl is even going to want to stay with you anymore. I mean, isn't she a temp at your office? Don't you think there's something messed up about a man your age making moves on someone that young and beneath you in the office? I really don't think it's a good look for you, at all.
Oh crap, this is bad. This is really, really bad. How did it come to this? This isn't how things are supposed to happen! I thought I had everything planned out perfectly. Now my life is falling apart around me!
I know what you mean. I can't believe that I wasted the last 10 years of my life with you. But I can't wait to start over without you. You've done nothing but put me down and make my life hell. I thought if I just went along with it and showed that I really cared that you might calm down and we could be happy again. I waited, and waited, and waited for the sweet man that I fell in love with to come back. But it's obvious to me now that there was never that sweet man. And even if one day you were the man that I always hoped you were, you're certainly not him now, nor will you ever be again.
Wait! No, please! You have to help me!
After that, Daniel called his office and tried to explain everything and apologize for what he had done. But they had already gotten the proof that Brad collected and served him with a fine for all of the company's money that he spent. It turned out to be quite a hefty sum, too. On top of that, Daniel also had to pay the legal fees served to him for my lawsuit and alimony. He was left with no other choice but to take out huge loans. After that, his girlfriend wanted nothing to do with him at all. So, Daniel had no wife, no girlfriend, no job, and soon had no home, too. He tried calling me and begging for help, but I blocked him right away. If he wants to fix his life, then it is up to him. As for me, it's weird being single again after 10 years, but I'm finding my footing and taking my time seeing new people. More than anything, however, I'm focusing on myself and trying to rediscover who I am after being in such a long relationship. I do feel some societal pressure to get married quickly, even though I just ended mine. But I realize that that pressure doesn't need to control me anymore. It's important to live a life that I'm satisfied with. For now, I am waiting for the right person to come along. Some people may say that it isn't going to happen unless I go out looking, but after what I've been through, I don't mind if I need to take a little extra time. After the divorce, I took my brother out for Italian as promised, and thanked him so much for all his help. We discussed a bit more about what he does for a living, and I have to admit that I was just fascinated by it. I became so interested in it that even though I already had found a job, I offered to help Brad on any cases that he might need extra hands for. The world of private investigating is quite thrilling, and it is also helping me greatly in moving on from my past.
Old woman, I think I'm going to be cutting ties to you now.
Huh? What are you going on about now? Did something happen to you, Hope?
This isn't about what's happened to me, Mom. This is about keeping things from ever having to happen. And that's why I no longer want anything to do with you. I'm going to get married, so I have a new life coming to me.
Oh, is that right? Congratulations, Hope. It makes me so happy inside to hear that my own little baby is finally going to be getting married. That's just so wonderful for you, as the man you're with right now seems like a true gentleman. So I can see you both being really happy with one another forever.
Well, all he really is a nice man that happens to have a lot of money to his name.
Huh?
His looks aren't all that good, so I'd have to say that he'd be a 4 out of 10 if not for that wealth. But because of all that money I've seen on him, he's a 10 out of 10. So that's why, after we have our wedding, I can give up on having to work any lousy jobs anymore and be a stay-at-home wife. I'll have the most relaxing life ever being his housewife. I'm so glad to see that I won't have to walk the same path that my poor and depressing mom has had to go down.
Wait, what you said just then is a bit too rude, right? That just made me feel a little sad inside, Hope. I've been doing a wonderful job as a mother, raising both you and your older brother without a man to help me out. So are you trying to say to me that you don't feel any kind of thanks towards what I've done for you?
Thanks towards you, huh? All I've been thinking about is how I'm finally going to have the chance to cut ties to my low-life mother. I don't feel any form of thanks, and all I want to feel is the loss of my mother. I'm not even able to rely on you for anything anymore, and that means I don't want you asking me for anything.
Are you actually being serious about cutting ties to me? You think that just because you're going to be married, you can just cut off your own mom? Or are you really trying to say that you don't give a crap about me as your mom?
You already know the answer to those questions. I really don't care for you at all, and I just can't stand being around you anymore. All you're doing by being my mother now is staining my image.
I can understand you forgetting a lot of the sacrifices I've had to make birthing and raising you when you were younger. But you saying all these really hurtful things to me now when you're supposed to be acting like an adult is just heart-wrenching.
I never needed you to sacrifice anything for me back then, Mom. By the way, you're getting into your 50s now, yet you're still working as a traffic conductor? Aren't you embarrassed to be standing on the streets all day working at your age? It even makes me feel embarrassed knowing that you're out there doing such a sickening job at your age.
I don't feel any kind of embarrassment from what I do. I actually happen to really enjoy the job and am confident in it. I get that there are times where the work can be tough for me considering I'm getting old, but I still find it a good job. I put my all into this work, and I don't want to be called a lowlife for working a job like this.
That kind of thinking is so gross, and it's making me want to vomit even. I'll make it very clear to you right now that I don't want a low-life woman like you coming to my wedding.
You don't even want me at your wedding? You're telling me that you're going to cut ties to me and that you don't want me at your wedding. Are you trying to make your own mother cry? Have you even had a chance to think about how your words might be hurting me?
I'm telling you that I can't deal with some traffic conductor or whatever you are showing up in my life anymore. I was lucky that my brother ended up showing me to one of his friends that then ended up being my soon-to-be husband. And now I'll be able to be treated well for the rest of my life. The man I'm marrying's parents run their own company. And right now, they are talking about giving the company to him soon, and that'll mean I get to be the wife of a CEO.
And I think that's very good news for you. But does that give you any reason to be talking poorly about me? I'm your mom after all, and I should be treated with way more respect than this.
I'm seen as being a perfect match for my man's family, and having someone like you still tied to me is just awful. I didn't even bother asking you to come and meet his parents when we all got together.
What? Has all of that already happened then?
It sure has, Mom. But we had no desire of you coming along to see them. And I mean, I'm going to be cutting ties to you anyway, so it's not like you really need to see them.
You have to stop talking about wanting to cut ties to me, okay? Why would anyone do that to their mother when nothing's ever happened to warrant such a choice? You think that just because your man has money and because you think I'm some kind of lost cause, you can cut ties to me? Don't you feel terrible saying such things to your mom?
I've been telling you how I feel about all of this pretty clearly, right? I don't even want a lowlife like you coming to my wedding to see us. And after the wedding, I'm cutting ties to you, and so is the rest of his family. You can go run off somewhere and live by yourself, you lost cause of an old traffic conductor.
If you're going to keep it up with all of those heartless phrases, then I think I'm going to reach my breaking point, Hope. So are you really telling me that this is what you're wanting to say to me?
You already know that I'm wanting to say all of this. I do not want anything to do with a lowlife old woman. And the moment that I marry and have my wedding, things between us will be over. So just stay away from my wedding, would ya?
Are you really okay with this?
You're starting to get on my nerves here. How many more times are you going to ask me if I'm okay with what I've said? If an old hag like you, who doesn't even work a needed job, comes to my wedding, you'll embarrass us all. And beware that there won't even be a seat for you at our very luxurious wedding.
Alright then. I won't go.
And don't forget that after, we are going to be no more.
You're asking me to not come to your wedding, so don't even worry about me being around you anymore. But you're the one asking for us to cut ties, so I'll make sure of that. Hope, are you really certain about this? You're fine with losing me as your mom?
I have told you already that of course I'm certain. I'll finally be able to live the life of my dreams now that you're no longer holding me back.
Well, that's just wonderful. Then you go right ahead and live that life you've always dreamed of. I can see you care about nothing regarding all the blood and sweat I've given for you. And so I'll do the same with you, and forget about you ever being my sweet little girl. This'll be horrible. Goodbye forever then, Hope. Make sure you never come back asking for my help, okay?
Who would ask you for anything? I should be saying that to you, you lowlife.
I recommend that from now on you don't call a stranger something like that, as it's not good manners. But it's not like you'll be talking to me anymore anyway, right? What do you want with me?
Mom! Are you able to come to the wedding right now?
I don't remember having a daughter named Hope in my family, so can you please tell me again what you want with me?
You don't have to keep acting like that anymore. Your daughter is in a bit of a tough spot right now, so can you come? Hurry up and get here, please. To my wedding.
Before you were telling me not to come to your wedding and that both you and I were no longer family, right? So I'm only doing as you've asked for me, and there shouldn't be any complaints about that, right?
I told you that you can forget about all of that now. I'm sorry that I happened to talk a little too much with you last time. But today is the day of my wedding, okay? You have to be here for your daughter's wedding.
Listen, Hope, you need to cut the crap right now. I no longer think of you as my daughter anymore. And that means I'm not going to go to your wedding. So now tell me why you're even bothering to text me in the first place right now.
The reason is that my husband's family is all upset with me right now because you never showed up to my wedding. I'm not sure why they would care at all about you being here or not, but they're telling me that if you don't come, they're not going to let the wedding happen.
And that would be right of them. A long while back, I was the one that saved your husband's father from a terrible car accident. And the only reason you're getting married to his son now is because of me. I was the one that thought his son would be a perfect match for what was my cute little daughter.
Huh? What are you going on about? What story is that? I heard that he was introduced to me by my brother.
I know that already. But we only said all of that so that you didn't feel like you were being forced to date him by your mother. We decided it was better to have your older brother say he was a friend of his in order to keep all of that under wraps for a while. You're the only one that's believed that this whole time, while everyone else knows that I was the one that recommended you to his son. Normally, they would have never let someone like you, who never had any accomplishments in or after school, or ever worked a proper job before, marry their son. But because I told them that you were a wonderful daughter and that you'd be just like me, a selfless and family-focused woman, They agreed to let their son meet you.
What? So you're telling me this is all because of you that I'm finally with someone who's going to marry me?
That's right, Hope. But I know that you won't ever believe what I'm saying here. And you probably can't even imagine something like this ever happening to you.
Well, I never knew about this before. Why didn't anyone tell me something like this happened?
You never really cared to listen to anything I've told you in the past 5 years, so why waste my time talking to you about it when someone else could? I knew you'd never listen, and that's why I just let you be.
Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't have ever listened to what you had to say about it. But it doesn't matter now. I understand what's happened. Now, can you come here and see us? I'm telling you, it's all right to come to my wedding now.
Why are you asking me that like everything's all fine and dandy now?
Huh?
You are no longer my child, and I'm not your mother. So it's not happening. I seriously never thought that my own daughter would be as bad as you. Someone that looks down on others for the work they do when you don't even have a proper job of your own. You were never this ruthless when you were a little girl, Hope. But you are just so screwed up now that I can't handle talking to you about anything anymore.
Hold on a second, Mom. Can you calm down a little? What the hell are you trying to say to me right now? Are you actually still upset with me after what happened a while ago?
It's not that I'm upset with you about it. Rather, I've just had enough of you and your selfish attitude. You act like a total witch who doesn't give a care in the world for anyone besides herself and will only want me around when she needs me. I've been the one to raise you for more than 20 years now, Hope. Yet you haven't shown me any ounce of gratitude for any of the effort I put into you. All you have to show for my effort now is saying you want to cut ties to me because you found yourself a man with lots of money. That is so messed up that I cannot even believe what I've heard from you still.
I'm sorry. I suppose I did go a little too far by saying that. But I never said any of that to you with the means of hurting you. I'm sorry that I got a little carried away and said some rude things.
It's too late now to apologize to me for any of that. I no longer want to think of you as a part of my family anymore. And after today, I promise you that I'm never going to have anything to do with you again.
What? Are you for real? Don't say such hurtful things like that to me. If you don't come and see my wedding, there will be no more wedding for us to be at. That will really make things bad for my situation.
Why do you think I care about your situation?
Well, because if your daughter is in a bad situation, you'll feel bad for me as well, right? So that's why you need to hurry up and get over here. You don't want for your daughter's wedding to be canceled because you didn't show, right?
I don't care what happens to your wedding, actually. And can you stop it with calling yourself my daughter and things like that? You are not my daughter and never have been.
What? You're going to be that mean to me now?
Who was the one that started all of this by being so mean to me? I forgot, but wasn't it you that's been a little witch to me for a long time now? At first I thought you were just having a couple of bad days, and that's why I never bothered to ask what was wrong. But even after graduating from high school, you've been very rude to me and given me the cold shoulder. And the fact that I still cared for you even after you turned 18 with no thanks in return was embarrassing for me. I really was a bad mother for doing that for you. But it's been because of me being a bad mother to you that you were able to get married to that man. This low-life mother of yours happened to save someone's life and in return give you a chance at having a husband.
Are you really that mad at me for calling you a lowlife? I get it, Mom, and I'm sorry that I said such a thing about you. How many more times do you want me to say I'm sorry for all of that? I never said any of that to put you in a bad mood or anything, okay?
Then why were you saying such hurtful things like that to me? My whole life I've gone on hearing all sorts of hurtful things from people. What you were saying about me was the worst I've ever had the misfortune of hearing. But it's not like I care anymore about all of that because you're no longer my daughter.
I told you not to say that about me. I'm still your daughter, right? You shouldn't even be trying to ruin your own daughter's wedding right now, because that's not what moms do. You get what I'm saying to you, right?
I have no idea what you keep going on about, and I don't care to understand. If you think you can be married to him without my help, then go ahead. But just know that I'm not there to help you anymore. I want to become a complete stranger to you now. And I've already moved back to my parents' house.
What? You moved back there?
So, that means if there is a chance that your husband does throw you out, you won't have anywhere to run home to. And don't forget that your brother is also upset with you.
He's mad at me now, too?
He has no plans of coming to your wedding now either. And he doesn't plan to hang out with you anymore, the same as me.
So not only are you mad at me, but he is as well? I never even did anything that bad besides say a few rude words, right?
You might think that what you did doesn't mean much to anyone, but you ended up doing something that will end up even hurting those that are strangers to you. Now, if you understand what I've meant, can you please leave me alone?
I do understand you, Mom, and right now I feel so sorry for what I've done and want to fix all of this. So can you please come here and help my wedding get moving? Please, Mom. I know that I screwed up by saying what I said to you, and I promise that I'll never call you a lowlife or anything close to that ever again.
It's too late for that, Hope. If you've really learned that what you've done is wrong, then use your new understanding to do better after all of this. I know that you don't have a family anymore, but I'm sure there will be someone in your future willing to be around you. As long as you have learned from this.
What? Are you really planning on just disowning your own daughter like this?
How many times are you going to ask me if I'm being serious about this? You were the one that asked for this, so you should be thrilled that I'm gone now. So leave me alone, please. I told you never to ask me for anything, right? Goodbye forever now. It would be a miracle if your wedding was still to happen after this. In the end, the wedding that Hope was supposed to have with her husband was canceled, and that completely sent her into a deep depression. And following that, her marriage fell apart as well with her husband. And she lost the right to ever go into his house. Not only did she lose her husband, but her brother and her mother as well. And that left Hope with very little hope in the end. Her mom did as she had asked and cut ties to Hope completely. And then went and apologized to the family of the groom. And as a gift of good standing between the two families, they ended up giving her a new job within their company, where she'd be able to retire in a few years with a nice package. So she ended up ending things with a lovely life, where she could feel safe living alone in her house. Where someone like Hope ended up losing all her family and was with nothing more than the clothes on her back in the open road. In other words, she's homeless and without money. It's safe to say that things you should never say to your family should definitely never be said to any strangers either. But Hope went against that, and this is her outcome.